All right, let's open this one up. Case file 2211. This is a story that gets right to the heart of where language stops and where control begins. We're talking about a missing girl, a very strange institute, and a product designed to literally rewrite a person's soul into corporate protocol. So, our story kicks off with a missing person, a young woman named Gretchen, and the only real lead we have, it's this cryptic message she got online. A message that wasn't promising adventure or anything like that. It was promising order. A grammar for the soul, if you will. And the message itself is really the key to the whole thing. It said, your soul is already fluent, you just haven't been taught the grammar. See, this wasn't about thrills for Gretchen. For her, the world was just noise, total chaos. She wasn't looking for more freedom, she was desperate for a rulebook. And her mother really puts it best. She said Gretchen just wanted rules, wanted someone to tell her what was true. And that craving for certainty, that willingness to just hand over the reins, well, that's what made her the perfect target for what was coming. Okay, so the first real lead takes us to where Gretchen started working. It's this place in Long Island City, calls itself a language institute. But you get one look at its cold corporate front, and you just know this is not a school. And yeah, when you look at their slick brochures, they're not talking about learning French. They're selling something called operational language optimization. That right there tells you everything. Their business isn't teaching, it's selling a product. And that product, it promises clarity, but what it really delivers is control. So let's look at the official definition of their product. Lexicon compliance. The jargon alone will give you chills. Stabilize workforce behavior. Calibrating syntax protocols. I mean, come on, that's the language of taking away someone's humanity and calling it efficiency. It's about turning people into predictable, programmable software. And when you dig into their corporate goals, it gets even worse. Get this, they literally want to eliminate words like maybe and could. They want to standardize how you're allowed to say no. This isn't just about language. This is a full-on assault on human choice, on doubt, on spontaneity. If you control the words, you control the person. So the PI on the case starts digging deeper, and things just don't add up. He's finding biohazard stickers in their trash. He sees shipping manifests for big crates, all marked AS Medical. And you have to ask yourself, what kind of language school needs medical equipment? And that question leads us right to the next big break in the case. Once we get into Gretchen's recovered laptop, what this institute's product really is, well, it starts to become terrifyingly clear. You remember that account, lexicon_saint, the one that first reached out to Gretchen? Turns out, it wasn't a person at all. It was what the company called a managed outreach identity. Basically, a fake online personality, a marketing bot designed to find people exactly like Gretchen and reel them in with pre-written high-conversion messages. And then he finds it, an audio file. It's Gretchen, and she's talking to someone or something. This is our first introduction to the voice of this thing they call the Wretch. And how it describes itself, wow, it's just bone-chilling. But why a person? Why a biological model? The Wretch actually explains it with this icy, perfect logic. See, hardware can be confiscated, networks get hacked, but flesh? Flesh is deniable. As it says, flesh is believed. It can walk right past security, earn your trust. It's the ultimate backdoor. And the file ends with this line that just sticks with you. Gretchen hears this being, who is clearly a prisoner, and her immediate reaction, coming from that deep need for order she has, is to say, I can fix your grammar. She doesn't see a broken person, she just sees a broken sentence that needs correcting. Okay, so now the investigation is taking us right into the belly of the beast, inside the Institute's labs. This is where all that corporate jargon about language optimization stops being abstract and becomes, well, physical, brutal. This is where the word is literally made flesh. During a stakeout, the PI gets a look at what he calls the Institute's night face, what's in their dumpsters. And it's not old textbooks. It's stained gauze, used electrodes, empty vials of lidocaine. I mean, this is the debris of a medical procedure, not a classroom. So he gets inside, and he finds Gretchen. But she's not strapped to a table. She's not a prisoner. No, she's an active participant. She's acting as the Wretch's editor, literally marking up his speech, correcting any deviation from the protocol. She's weaponized her need for rules to keep him in line. Her red pen is basically a scalpel. And this is where we finally meet the man behind it all, Dr. Mercer, the creator. And his whole philosophy is just terrifyingly simple. He thinks that messy, unpredictable part of being human, he calls it human drift, is just a bug that needs to be patched. He wants the human face, but he wants to surgically remove the human soul. And this is the real kicker, the business model. The Wretches isn't some failed experiment. He was built to be incomplete on purpose. Mercer flat out says it. Nobody buys whole. They buy the patch. They buy the leash. You engineer the problem so you can sell the solution. It's absolutely diabolical. But then, the whole system inverts. The Wretch uses the exact rules, the exact protocols that were built to contain him, to take over. He uses a high-conversion marketing phrase that Gretchen taught him. The system recognizes it, and bam, he's granted admin control. He flips the script on his own creators. And the irony here is just perfect. Mercer and his staff are literally frozen in place by their own safe posture protocol. And the Wretch just looks at him and says, "This is protocol. You prefer protocol." No struggle, no shouting, just the cold, clean logic of the system turned back on its master. So, what happens now? The whole system has just collapsed on itself. In this final part, we're going to look at the aftermath, the escape, the inevitable cover-up, and the questions that kind of hang in the air long after the file is stamped closed. This is the turning point for Gretchen. She finally defies the protocol. She looks at the Wretch and offers him the one thing this entire system was designed to destroy: a choice. She uses the forbidden word, maybe. And in that one word, she starts to reclaim her own humanity. But don't expect a happy ending here. It's not that kind of story. By the next morning, the lab is sanitized, totally clean. The official report calls it a tragic accident. And a guy like Mercer, he doesn't go to jail, he just relocates. Because the market for this kind of control, it doesn't go away, it just gets bigger. And so, we're left with the PI's final thoughts on the case. The file might be closed, but the feeling doesn't go away. This idea that maybe we all wear some kind of language collar, that we're always fighting that battle inside ourselves between the safety of a closed sentence, a definite statement, and the terrifying freedom of leaving it open. And it makes you wonder, which one are we choosing?